Ready for another lesson? Understanding why women keep the baby. Raw dogging is something that most of us men like. Old dirty bastard paraphrased it pretty well when he said, "Baby, I like it raw." And it's one of the best feelings in the world to, you know, plant seeds deep in a woman's womb. But here's the psychology behind why 95% of them keep the baby. Most of the women keep the children because of many issues that they had throughout their life. Some of them grow up in single family homes or without parents. And some of them use the child, of course, as you know, to keep the guy around. But in most cases, they don't stick around. That's not a surefire bet to keep him around. There's a magical bond that happen that when you in the heat of the moment and you start planting seeds, and that's one magical moment. The second magical moment happen and the child born. There's a bond that happens between the man and the woman, and they think that that's gonna be a permanent fix. And if you ain't in control of your emotions, you're gonna end up doing things you don't want to do. Some women, on the other hand, feel like they have nothing else left in the world. That's their child and they can love unconditionally, and the child, more than likely, they hope, gonna return and feel the same. This mainly happened in impoverished neighborhoods, and it's understandable. Very rarely you see it in the affluent classes and stuff like that. Most women try and say that, oh, my baby was planned, and most of the time when you ask women if they had planned for their baby, a lot of them have these unreal expectations or delusions that say, oh yeah, we planned for the baby and all of this stuff. But what happened when the baby come way sooner than you expected? Then you left hole in the bag. The women keep the children because it's just the bond that they have through their body when the baby start growing and all of this stuff. Even if they can't afford it. Some of them have the mentality, that if I could be an adult and pay my own rent and have my own car and pay my own cell phone bill and have quote-unquote adult responsibilities, then I could handle a child, which is very false. Raising a child is very difficult and hard, especially when you're doing it by yourself. That's why some of them have their grandmothers and nannies and all that stuff to help aid them, because child rearing is no joke. It takes two, and it takes a village. If a woman is biologically healthy, no matter how this child look, it's the most adorable thing in the world. I mean, it's a sad reality that we live in, and it ain't gonna get any better. And some of them wait until they in the later years because they put their career and stuff before child rearing and having a family and being a wife and all of this stuff. Having children is a very hard task, and women fail to understand that the younger the woman is, the more successful or the higher the percentile of the pregnancy going through. The older she is, the more she's likely to have miscarriages, and with each miscarriage it damages the body more and more. This is why you see some women have children and they have them back to back to get them out the way, because they understand this. Most of the time when women get pregnant and they keep the child, even though you want them to abort it, is because of these factors. Some of it is partly she wants to trap you, and some of it is emotional attachment to the child. You'll never really know. Or especially if she's super young, like teenager, 16, 14, 13. Some of them do it just because they want to get out from the dictatorship they call a household under the parents. And they think that a baby is a solution, when the baby in fact is the problem. If you're in wretchedness and you have no money and you go have a child, that is going to set you back. You might as well just throw away all your hopes and dreams, because that's going to take up a lot, if not all your time, to keep this child alive and keep your child away from the dangers of living in the world as an infant. You've been taught.